Welcome to Pause and Play. I'm Jessica. This is your pocket companion, a place to pause, to play, and to find your way back home to yourself. You don't have to do anything, just be here. Guidepost 21. Be intentional. Choosing with clarity, acting with care, living on purpose. Intentionality isn't about rigid control, it's about living aligned with what matters most. Sit still for a moment. Close your eyes and breathe slowly. Imagine drawing a circle around yourself energetically, emotionally. Within this space, ask, what do I choose to carry forward? Whisper aloud, I choose with care. I live with purpose. Let the words create a calm clarity within. Be intentional. Let your life reflect your values. Let your actions match your heart. You don't have to do it all. You just have to do what matters on purpose. Intentionality is presence, integrity, power. It's easy to get swept along by the current of expectations, distractions, and autopilot habits. But when we pause to ask, what do I want to choose here? We reclaim our agency. Being intentional doesn't mean every choice is perfect. It means you're awake to the choosing. This mantra is an invitation to align, not just act, to discern, not just do. Personal story. The kitchen table was covered in clutter, unfinished projects, empty plates, sticky crayons. The day had been long and loud. I bounced between work, school lessons, meltdowns, meal prep, unanswered texts. I looked around and felt that all too familiar ache. I was doing everything, but it didn't feel like me. My body was there, but my presence wasn't. I had been moving through life in a blur, on autopilot. Not because I didn't care, but because I was in survival mode. Parenting, homeschooling, healing, working, trying to hold it all together without falling apart. My to-do list was endless, but time didn't feel like mine. I was responding to everything and everyone except my own heart. Somewhere along the way, I lost track of what mattered most. That night, instead of cleaning up or pushing through, I sat down in the middle of the mess, wrapped my hands around a warm mug of tea, and asked myself a single question. What actually matters to me right now? The answer wasn't dramatic or profound. It was simple. Connection. Not productivity. Not perfection. Just presence. Being with my children. Being with myself. Being in this moment on purpose. I invited the kids to join me. We pushed everything aside and sat together, coloring, chatting, so no agenda. No multitasking, no rush, just connection. And something shifted. That small, intentional act became a turning point. I started asking that question more often, before saying yes, before adding something new to the calendar, before spiraling into urgency. Is this aligned with the life I want to create? I began letting go of the things that weren't, not all at once, but piece by piece. We created rituals that grounded us, morning walks where we pointed out tiny details others might miss. Together practicing wonder, noticing, gratitude. Quiet tea time, even if it was for just a few minutes, as a pause in the day. Afternoons of making art for no reason but joy. Dinners where we shared one favorite feeling from the day. Our life didn't suddenly become easy, but it became more ours. And in the midst of external chaos, I felt something unexpected: peace. Intentionality became a form of self trust. It was no longer about doing more or being better. It was about choosing what felt true and letting that truth shape how we spent our time, our energy, and our attention. It wasn't always convenient. It often meant saying no to things that looked shiny on the outside, but it also meant saying yes to what felt aligned on the inside. I began to feel more grounded and more whole, more like myself. Clarity gave me courage, and the more I practiced choosing with intention, the more life started to reflect what I value the most. This is how I build a meaningful life now, one small choice at a time, not by default, but by design. Science meets soul. Intentional living supports nervous system regulation by reducing overwhelm and decision fatigue. It allows us to act from the prefrontal cortex, the seat of conscious decision making, rather than react from a survival state. When we slow down and choose mindfully, we strengthen pathways of self trust, autonomy, and alignment. Intentionality creates spaciousness inside our system, and that spaciousness becomes a sanctuary. Intentionality brings integrity to our lives. It aligns our doing with our being. When we're intentional, we say yes with our whole selves and no with compassion. We pause before we commit. We live with fewer regrets and more clarity. Intentionality is how we build lives that feel like ours. Try this: daily practices. Start your day with one clear intention. Pause before reacting and ask, what matters here? Simplify your to-do list to 3 priorities. Say no to one thing that doesn't align. Create rituals around transitions: waking, eating, working, resting. Set a timer and reflect. Is what I'm doing what I mean to be doing? Choose one meal to eat slowly and mindfully. Let your body decide what it wants to wear, what it wants to eat, what it wants to do. Write down your values and refer to them before big choices. Begin each week with a purpose word. Light a candle to signal intentional focus. Unplug during key moments: meals, conversations, walks. Name what you're choosing in this moment. Reflect before making a new commitment. End the day by asking, did I live in alignment today? Pause prompts. What am I doing on autopilot? What am I saying yes to out of habit or guilt? What truly matters to me right now? Where do I want to be more present? What needs more conscious care in my life? What is one area I want to shift into deeper alignment? What does living on purpose mean to me? What does it feel like when I'm acting from intention? What distracts me from what matters? Where do I feel out of sync with myself? What rhythms or rituals support my clarity? What energy do I want to bring into the day? What am I currently tolerating that no longer fits? When do I feel most congruent? Words, actions, energy aligned. What kind of life am I choosing today? The pause is the portal to intentionality. It's where you stop to ask, is this aligned? Is this mine? Is this true? When you pause, you reclaim your agency. You shift from reacting to responding, from drifting to directing. Let the pause help you choose with care. Play prompts. Make a vision board titled On Purpose. Doodle your ideal day based on your values. Write a poem beginning with, I choose. Create a collage of images that feel aligned. Turn your core values into art. Draw a compass with your inner priorities. Make a ritual playlist that supports intentional energy. Design a Choose Your Path art journal spread. Decorate your calendar with intention words. Paint your week as a color-coded rhythm. Create an altar of intentional objects. Role play being your aligned self in a mirror. Build a mantra mobile with words that ground you. Create a card deck of values-based affirmations. Act out a daily task with exaggerated presence and care. Play helps bring intention into embodiment. It makes values visible. It transforms clarity into creation. It helps you feel what alignment looks and sounds and moves like. Intentional play is how your soul remembers. Integration practices. Create a morning intention setting ritual. Use body cues to decide whether something feels aligned. Review your calendar weekly and ask, does this reflect my values? Keep an aligned choices journal. Use visual reminders like Post-it, symbols, objects to anchor you. Take 5 minutes before big tasks to name your purpose. End the day with a short reflection. What felt intentional today? Design your space to reflect your priorities. Write letters to your future self about the life you're building. Revisit your values monthly and update them. Choose your media and screen time consciously. Schedule white space for dreaming or direction finding. Invite feedback from people who see your blind spots. Practice being present during ordinary moments. Let your actions speak your values every day. Intentionality is not about perfection. It's about presence. It's the quiet discipline of choosing what matters even when it's hard. Living intentionally means remembering that your time, your energy, your life, they're sacred. And you get to choose how you offer them. That's what makes it holy. Art therapy prompts. Draw a path lined with aligned choices. Collage your top 5 values with images and symbols. Create an abstract painting using only yes colors. Illustrate a day that reflects your ideal rhythm. Make a flipbook of small, intentional shifts. Sculpt or draw a symbol for your core intention. Create a visual map of aligned and misaligned energy. Use black and white to contrast automatic versus intentional life. Build an art-based altar of your priorities. Trace your hand and write one intention per finger. Doodle what it feels like to live from the inside out. Paint the phrase, I choose this, in layers. Create an intuitive mandala that centers your why. Turn a decision into a visual pros and cons balance. Draw the ripple effects of one intentional act. Space for personal exploration. Journal prompt. Where in my life do I want to be more intentional? Doodle prompt. Draw a lens through which you want to view your life. Collage prompt. Gather images that reflect your true values and make a life compass visual. I choose with care. I live with purpose. I act in alignment. This affirmation is a call to conscious living, or to remind you that your days are not just to be filled, but to be felt and chosen. Let this be your anchor in a world of noise. When you say yes to others, make sure you are not saying no to yourself. Paulo Coelho. Intentional living is a radical act of self-respect. It's how you make meaning, how you build integrity, how you live a life that feels like your own. Pause, choose, align, begin again. Community invitation. What is one thing you're choosing on purpose this week? A boundary, a belief, a rhythm, a ritual? Share your intention, and let's support each other in choosing what matters. Before you go, I want to recognize what you just did. You showed up, you stayed, you allowed yourself to move with awareness. Today, you practiced intention, and in doing that, you reclaimed your agency. You loved yourself by choosing consciously, and every time you do that, your nervous system learns that you are not just reacting, you're creating. You are leaving this episode differently than when you arrived, because now there is a part of you that chooses with care. And I want you to know, I see you. Carry this with you. You are shaping your life. I'll meet you here again soon. Pause and play.